Hey everyone, welcome to Sparrow Warfare. Sparrow Warfare is a new game. I guess it's a game in development. Really, it's not out, but it is now playable. There's a public playtest available, and I've been really enjoying it. And so I wanted to make a little video to show you about it. It's by a couple of friends of mine, Shah and Martin, who make really interesting stuff and are also super into deck builders. So when I heard that they were sort of experimenting with card games and strategy games and stuff for their next project, I was really excited. And when I actually played the game, there's just some stuff in it that I might be wrong because maybe I don't know enough about the genre or there's things I haven't played, but there's stuff in it that I just haven't seen anywhere else, and it's really interesting. So I really wanted to show you a little bit of it. And I promise that I didn't just decide to make this video because I'm currently top of the leaderboard. That's unrelated, but I do just want to sort of underline that here. And I did just sort of make sure we started on the main menu just so it was very visible, but it's not important. That's what I just want to underline. Anyway, let's jump into the game and I can show you. So this game is early on, like it's being developed. Lots of places are in testing. There's some things that might not be 100% finished in places, but what is there is really, really cool. So I'm basically just saying this so that if you see something that looks wrong, it's probably because it's not finished yet. But I think you absolutely should go and play it if you're curious, because it really does give you a sense of where it's going. It's a very nice intro, which I'll allow you to play off. I think the kinetic text and art and colors in this game are really, really beautiful. But yeah, the picture is that you are a tiny sparrow, and you are fighting back against this storyteller that has kind of captured all of your bird comrades. And so this is what it looks like. This is me on the left. I'm going to skip this so that I can sort of walk you through it. But this is me on the left here. This is the sparrow called Mike. And on the right, you'll see these are kind of the enemies or opponents that stand in our way. So right now, there is one opponent here, which has 6 health and is going to do 4 damage to me. And if you've played games like Slay the Spire, this might be quite readable, I think, at this point. Something that's a little bit different to most deck builders is this is a boss. So the way I've been thinking about it is one of the elegant special things about this game that I just want to say from the off is that it kind of compresses an act from Slay the Spire, like an act from a deck builder, into one area. So we are going to play a whole act in just this one screen. And it does this in a number of really smart ways. But one of those ways is that the boss is right here. Like, this is turn 1 at the beginning of the game, and the boss is already here, and I can start attacking it. It's not going to do anything for 10 turns, but as I attack it, that will sort of reduce that fact. And then it will start kind of getting involved and taking its own actions. Okay, so that's the first thing. So what does it actually mean for us to take a turn? What are we doing? What are all these tiles at the bottom? So this is a deck builder, but it's actually more about what you do with that deck. The building part is refined and very focused. You make very few building decisions, but they're extremely interesting and important, and we'll go into what I mean by that when they come up. But a lot of the time, you're looking at your hand, the tiles that you've got here, and what you're looking for is you're looking for 2 types of things. The first is, actually, I don't know what the nomenclature is, but the first is what you guess you would call 3 of a kind. So these are 3 numbers of the same suit. So these are defend tiles, and they're all 4s. And I can play 3 of a kind, and this will give me +4 defense 3 times, like so. So I can play this, and now I've got 12 defense. And you notice this hasn't ended my turn. There's no energy here. As long as I can keep making moves like this, I can keep playing. And this is another really critical part of the game's design. The other thing I can do other than doing 3 of a kind is I can do a run. So I can do a 1, 2, 3 or a 2, 3, 4, that kind of thing. And when I do this, I will attack this creature 3 times for a total of 6 damage, which, as you can see, will kill it. And what we'll see what the consequence of killing it is in a sec. But one of the other things that's going to happen is the beekeeper is going to throw up another creature for us, I think, or I might be misremembering. But let's just watch what's going to happen. So, destroy this creature, and you'll now see that it's now on the left-hand side of the screen, and it's flying with me. It's now a follower. So, when you defeat a creature in Sparrow Warfare, it becomes a follower on the left-hand side of the screen, and it flies around with you. And when we want to, we can click it to use it. And I'll come onto what that is in a sec, but I just want to sort of walk you through a couple of other features of like the basics of playing the game first. So I was wrong. I misremembered. The beekeeper's not going to take an action, and I think they're probably not going to take an action until I end my turn. So I'll show you one more thing we can do. So we also have these cards which have X's on them. I believe they're called wild tiles, but I might be wrong with the words. But what we see here is I've got a 1 and a 3 of attack, but I don't have a 2 of attack. So what I can do is I can use the wild tile, and it will automatically fit itself in to make this a valid set. So for the purposes of this, what it means is it counts as an attack card. It will do 2 damage, but it will also activate the text on it. And this is a very special card which kind of defines your playstyle in the playtest. Because when you use it, it fills your deck rather, with a load of fire cards. So this is like a third type of card. So we've got attack cards, we've got defense cards, and we've got burn cards, which we'll see in a sec. So I'm going to use this now. We're going to do 6 damage to the beekeeper, and then we'll see the consequences of using the Way of Fire. A lot of stuff's going to happen all at once, and we'll go through it as and when. So doing 3 attacks, load of flame cards. They all get added to my deck. There we go. So we'll get into some of this in a sec, but we can see basically that the beekeeper has now spawned 2 more enemies for us, and our hand has now refreshed. So we've now got flame cards. Flame cards are a bit special. They work kind of like attack cards, but instead of doing damage now, they will do damage at the end of every turn to anything that is burning. So I can't actually give you an example here because I don't have enough to make a run. But we'll see that burning is really, really powerful. So it's a bit like poison in Slay the Spire, if you're familiar with that. But again, because of the way Sparrow Warfare is designed, it's much more interesting than poison is in Slay the Spire. Because as you can see, I still haven't ended my turn, technically. I haven't like clicked the end turn button. So I can still play, I can play a run of defense cards like this, like 1, 2, 3. And I don't have enough attacks to make a run here, but I can keep playing without ending my turn, which means the burning effect wouldn't apply until I end my turn. So it's very different from a regular attack, and we'll see some of the dynamics of that in a sec. Anyway, so I could end my turn now. In fact, I think I will end my turn now. I'm going to take a little bit of damage here, just 1 damage I think overall. So this is 6 plus 13, and I've got 18 block. So let's do that, see what happens. All right. Now, I drew new cards, new tiles from my deck, but I didn't get rid of any of the old ones. So this is, again, much more different to, say, a card-based deck builder, where the cards that are left over and the tiles that are left over, they hang around, so you can plan for what the next moves might be on your next turn. And to kind of facilitate that, you can always discard cards. So I can always get rid of any number of cards I want. If I'm like, okay, whenever I end my turn, I want to pull in some different cards. I need to get rid of these. I'm never going to make a run with these 3s. I need to get rid of them. So we can do that. I'm not going to do that, but we'll see us do that in a bit. So I have got enough to get some flame going here. And there's a couple of interesting options available to me. So I could do a run like this, a 1, 2, 3. Or I could do a 2, 3, 4. And there's kind of pluses and minuses to both of those, which is why I think even this game has so much juice to it. Even the basic decisions of which tiles to play are really interesting because, okay, 2, 3, 4 is better than 1, 2, 3 because they're bigger numbers, but they leave you with different tiles, right? So if I do 1, 2, 3, it leaves me with 2, 4, 4. So what things might I get? A 3 would be quite good, another 4 would be quite good. And what's in my deck to be drawn? There's a bunch of 3s and some 4s, so that's not bad. If I were to play 2, 3, 4, it'll leave me with 1, 2, 4. And here I really need a 3. If I don't get a 3, I can't really do much unless I'm pulling 2 2s or 2 4s. So this one does more damage now, but it leaves me with fewer options for the next turn. I think I am going to do this. So this will do 5 plus 9 damage. Not damage, sorry, burning. So when I play this, it's going to attack the front character first. And normally, you would expect it to just sort of like, this is too much burning. This is more burning than they have HP. But the game's quite generous. So if I burn this totally, so if I give it enough burn to kill it, the excess burn will spill over onto this next bird. Let's just see that happen. Okay, so this is taking 5 burn damage, and then the excess burn damage got put onto this other card, Lonely Lewis. So this is pretty good. At the end of this turn, if I were to click end turn, this would die, and this will take 4 of 5 damage. So it means this one wouldn't attack, which is great, but I would take 8 damage, which is not great. So what can we do about that? Well, I'm looking at this hand, and I actually don't have any options for things that I can do right now. I can't make a run. I don't have any 3s of a kind. So I have to decide. I could take 8 damage. That would be absolutely fine. And I think if I was playing this casually and I wasn't recording it, I probably would just take the 8 damage here. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my follower. So followers in Sparrow Warfare are how you add things to your deck. So in Slay the Spire, for example, at the end of a regular combat, you'll be given 3 cards that you choose 1 to add to your deck, or you can skip it. In Sparrow Warfare, you kind of bank all of those options, and you can call on them whenever you want, and they get added to your hand now. So this little follower mechanic is, I think, the coolest part of the game. I've never seen anything quite like it in a strategy game, and it just affords so many interesting choices. I have a couple of things I don't like about the way it currently works, but I think that's partly because I don't understand it. But I'm going to show you how this works right now. So I'm in a situation where I don't want to take 8 damage, and I would really like an extra bit of oomph to get me through the next turn. So I click on this, and it's going to show me I can acquire a new tile. Now you can see here that actually there are other options that are grayed out, and that's because I haven't unlocked them. And I believe you unlock them by not using followers and kind of keeping them with you throughout the game. And as you keep them for the longer periods, they acquire more things that they can give you. But that's fine. We don't need that right now. We just need a new tile. So I'm going to click Acquire New Tile, and it's going to give me a choice of 3 cards. And you can see here, crucially, all of these cards are wild. They have X's on, which means I can use them to make combos with any of the suits in my hand. But they also have effects. So this one will say, draw tiles until you encounter an opposing tile. I guess I can explain that now. I don't 100% understand this mechanic. Shit. Okay. I should add as context, I'm using my left hand to play this game because my right hand is injured at the moment, and that means that I quite commonly accidentally click things. So that might happen a couple more times in this video, but don't worry about that. So let me explain to you this opposing tile mechanic. I don't fully understand every mechanic in this game, right? I've played for a couple of hours, so I'm not an expert on it. My understanding is that this boss is asleep, so this boss is not going to fight us for a while, but the boss will spawn new enemies for us. And the way those spawns work is, as you draw more cards, as you draw more tiles from your deck, you will hit like checkpoints where it will cause an enemy to spawn. So what I believe this will do is, when I play this card, the effect it will have is it will keep drawing tiles into my hand until it causes an enemy to spawn. That's my understanding. I'm not 100% sure on it, whether I can actually see what happens now when I do it, but that's what I think will happen. But what I can do now is I can make like a 2-3-4 defense run, because I've got this X card. I could make a 2-3-4 flame run. I could make a 4-4-4 attack, which is very tempting. So suddenly, by using this follower, not only have I've customized my deck, I've added something permanently to my deck, but it instantly adds something to my hand that I know I can solve a problem that I'm currently in with. And it's giving me like just a bunch of options that I can plan ahead with. And there's a risk-reward thing, because it actually would have been great if I could have held on to that follower. Like, I could have kept it for future fights, maybe when I really needed it. Maybe it was better to take the 8 damage now and hold on to the follower choice. So this follower mechanic is just so good. Like, it is constantly causing interesting choices when I'm playing. I absolutely love it. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this. Let me just double check how the deck's looking. So we've got 6 defense cards, 6 attack cards, and a lot of flame cards. So we're we're actually pretty likely to draw... Ah, okay, sorry, yes. So you can see these are the birds that are yet to spawn. So I guess it may not be checkpoint based, it may be completely random. So we could take flame, but there's a lot of flame cards left. So I'm thinking maybe it's okay to like thin the deck out a bit and play some attack cards, and then I'll have more room for flame combos. The only thing is that flame is really, really powerful, and it's really, really good for bosses because every turn you take damage equal to your flame, to your burn, and then the burn reduces by 1. Which means if we stack up like 40 burn on the boss, it's going to chew through their HP. So if I add extra flame on here, it's going to do 1 flame to him, and then it's going to overflow everything else onto the beekeeper. So I think I want to do that, even though it might be slightly less efficient. But before I do, well, actually, I mean, I can do that now. Let's do that. So perfect. Actually, I did misplay that, but that's fine. So now the beekeeper has 4 burn. Unfortunately, we triggered another bird to spawn while we were drawing cards, which means that the last bit of burn didn't go on the beekeeper, it actually went onto the hawk. So that's fine, we'll destroy the hawk in a sec. So these two are not going to survive the turn. This one is going to deal 9 damage. Fortunately, when we drew some tiles, we drew, very fortunately, a 3 of defense, which means I can play 2, 3, 4 defend. I made a small mistake when I played the wild tile, but I won't go into what that is because it's not super interesting. What defense do we have left to pull? I think we're fine to discard that. And for the flames, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. That's annoying. I'm going to discard the 3s as well. So again, the discarding is an interesting choice because the more I discard, the more I'm going to draw at the end of this turn. So for example, if I've got really strong cards that I've already discarded, like Needle, the cool X card I played, I might want to get that to come back around faster, so I want to discard more cards. But if I'm holding really good cards that I want to combo with, maybe I don't want to discard them. So there's a lot of give and take there. Anyway, let's end that turn. This one goes away. This one goes away. And then the hawk's going to do some damage, or try to. We blocked it. Okay, fantastic. So we've pulled a lot of enemies. So there's a lot of people attacking us now. You can see the 2 creatures that we killed are now followers. So we might want to call on them if we feel like we don't have enough. The situation we're in now is kind of interesting because by default, your attacks only affect the first person in a row, and this creature is quite chunky. It's got 35 health. We will struggle to get through that. So we're probably going to want to play some kind of defense. Could just do that. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Now, flame and attack have a really interesting relationship because if I completely fill this person up with burning, I don't really want to attack them anymore because I know they're going to die. So I want to play my physical attacks first to reduce their health total. And then if I can fill them up with burning now, it's like I'll get to the point where it overflows to the other birds faster. So I think I want to do that. But already I'm thinking like, this is not going to kill the hawk. And this means I'm taking like, 30 damage, which is not great. So earlier I said I'd be happy to take 8 damage. I don't know if I'm happy to take 20. So I think we might be looking at calling on one of our followers instantly, even though I'd rather not. So let's see what you can give to us. Healing, not really useful for us. Luring out means that we force basically another bird to appear if it's hiding in the deck. I don't really want to do that either. This, however, is great. So this is draw a tile for every opponent. So this is an interesting tile because eventually we'll get to the point where we're just fighting the beekeeper and there are no other birds. Then this card is not very useful, but right now it's really useful. We've got 4 opponents, so this is a huge draw. And again, like, one of the things about this game is that it kind of intensifies every mechanic that I'm used to from a deck builder. So in lots of deck builders, draw is useful. Like in Slay the Spire, draw is useful because it gives you more cards, which means it gives you more options. In Sparrow Warfare, draw is incredibly useful because draw is also kind of like energy. Because I can play as many tiles as I want, as long as they're in my hand. So drawing is just giving me more options to do stuff. So this is great. I'm going to be able to play 3 flames and then get 4 cards in. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have an opportunity to actually get something done. Let's see. Okay, we rolled unfortunate. Like we got a bit unlucky. No attacks possible, not enough to make a flame or a defense. We kind of know what we're going to get next time, so this would be enough for 3 sets of 2 attacks, and maybe like a 2, 3, 4 flame. So I think we can safely throw away the 1 of attack. There is a question of if I used this bird, this follower, I could definitely make a run of 2, 3, 4 defense. I think I will do that because, again, I'm not going to make this video super long. In the run that I had that was really, really good and that ended with the high global rank thing, I finished the Beekeeper off with like, I must have had 10 followers or something like that. Like I used almost no followers in the first level. And I feel like that is quite key if you can avoid it. But right now, especially now, I kind of like, this feels like a very unfortunate situation to be in. So let's ask for a new tile. Okay, so you will occasionally get offered tiles that are not wild. This is useful because right now the highest attack I have is a 4. So this actually allows me to do a lot more damage. Later on, you will just get given higher attack and defense cards. But this allows me to get one earlier, so that's pretty good. This is very situational, I found. So this means that I will skip attacking any of the birds, and my attack will just go to the Beekeeper itself. I haven't found a good use for it yet. I mean, I guess if you got like loads of burning on the boss early on, it would mean that every turn it was like ticking down right from the beginning. That could be kind of cool, but I'm not going to take that. Suit tiles played with this wild tile act as attacks. So this is I didn't really want any of these 3, I will say, but this one is probably the better of the 3, because what it's going to allow me to do is turn attacks into different kinds of cards. Actually, as I'm saying this, God, this is very awkward. Oh no, it's not that bad actually. This is actually okay. Yeah, we're gonna take Bloodlust. So what this will mean here is, if let's say this was another type of wild tile, I could have gotten a 2/2/2 of attack. That would be 6 attack. But now Bloodlust is going to let me do 3, 4, 5, and it's going to turn these into red cards. They're going to be treated as if they were physical attacks. So this is actually slightly overkill. I need to deal 14 damage to. Oh, it's actually not overkill. Yeah, I think it's the. Oh, it is. Yeah, sorry. This is. Okay, yeah, it's not. I got confused with how much burning it had versus how much health it had. So it's actually got 18 burnings. This is more than enough. It was more attack than we needed, but the point is that this thing now dies. So that was quite important because what that effectively is it's given me 13 block because this thing is now not going to attack. So now I'll block half of this attacks. You know, I'll still take a bit of damage, but it's not so bad. Okay. Do we want to discard anything? We've already looked at what we're getting, so we're going to get at least the 2 of attack, so we'll be able to do that next turn. I think this is fine. This cup, I think it's like a chalice, means that it was an elite. I assume, again, I haven't kind of paid attention enough to how the bird rewards work. I assume the elite rewards, like the cards that it offers you, are slightly better. But I haven't like fully looked into some of these details yet. A couple of different symbols. This means that I think it's going to heal itself for 4. And this means, I think this means it is going to discard 3 of my cards at random. And again, this is another interesting mechanic that most deck builders can't or don't have. Normally it would be normal to discard all of your hand at the end of your turn, but here you don't, so you may be keeping cards for particular strategies or whatever. This ability doesn't let you do that because it's going to try and get rid of some of your cards. So we've got to whittle this guy down a bit. So I could go 2/2/2. That leaves me with 1 and 4, so even with a wild tile that wouldn't let me make another attack. The other option is that I get a wild tile now and do like a 2/3/4. 2/3/4 would take us down to like what, 8 here. Oof. we would need like some kind of draw tile from this if it was going to save us, I think. Let's do this, because we almost are sure we're going to want to do this, probably, I think. And then I will actually pull this now. Okay. Okay, this is very good. All right, so this card is pretty cool. So ephemeral cards, or ephemeral tiles, sorry, disappear at the end of your turn. And basically, every time this happens, you get 1 strength. Yes. But we're going to take double take, which is kind of incredible, actually. It just doubles the value of every tile in a run. So if I do 2, 3, 4, it becomes 4, 6, 8, which is enough to kill the pigeon, which is pretty good. And then we can put some flame on these. I'm just thinking about whether actually there's a better move here. So if I were to do this, takes it down to 9. And then I could have 18 burn, which would put 11. I think that is actually the better run. So let's do that. So 6 damage to the pigeon. Because burn overflows, it's always really good to like do your physical damage first, then apply burn. So now it's applied like a 7 burn to Fluff Justice. What we're drawing next is like everything. Like our deck is really full, so we don't want to make any decisions like based on what we may or may not pull. But I'm probably just going to get rid of these 1s because I'm in a position where I need higher cards. So like hoping for lower cards is not good enough. Okay, pigeon's done. We're going to take a bit of damage here, and then it discards the rest of our hand. Okay. So this thing needs 6 more burn, or actually, I mean, this is great. Like, this is a physical attack of 6, which means that we can start putting burn on and applying it to these. That feels pretty good. Is that what we want to do? I think it is. I think we're gonna do... This just feels very convenient. This is exactly what we need, right? And then we can do the defense with night vision. So this will give us 12 defense and 3 new tiles. And then we can start seeing if we can like burn the rest of these away. Another thing that we need to be aware of is that the boss is almost like done waiting. So there are no more birds in the deck. Once we get rid of these, we can get onto the boss. But we really need to like clear out the deck, clear out the table right now. Okay, this is interesting because there are no more opposing tiles in the deck. So my understanding is this will just fill up our hand, which is pretty cool. But we don't really want to use Bloodlust now because, again, another reason why I think this game is interesting, all of these mechanics are so dense. This burn is really good for us, but it's not going to do anything till we end our turn. And I don't want to end my turn because I want to play more cards. So doing physical damage is a waste because this character is going to die and I don't want to like put 6 more damage on it. So I don't want to use Bloodlust unless I really have to, or unless it's going to give me something really amazing. So I think what I'm going to do is play 4 flame, which is great, bunch of flame here. Then play 1, 2, 3 flame. Okay, also good. And now I can do this, so this is going to give me some more defense, and then Needle's going to fill up our hand, hopefully, if I've understood. There we go, perfect. So again, haven't even ended my turn, right? Like I was chaining these tiles together so that it's giving me now a fresh hand, which is basically just like giving me a load more mana. So it's interesting because infinites exist in games like Slay the Spire, for example, but they're normally quite extreme circumstances, I would say. Whereas, you know, I haven't gone infinite in this game, but you are in a sense always looking for ways to extend the length of your turn, and there's lots of different ways to make it happen, which I have found really satisfying. So we want to keep pouring on the flame if possible. That's a real shame, though. So we can grab a bit more defense at least. Do we gain anything by... I mean, we don't really gain anything by attacking this thing now. I feel like this would be more useful to keep for a future turn, because these two things are going to die, and we can finish this thing off really easily next turn. So I'm going to call it there. And maybe I probably should have discarded the flames, honestly. Okay, so Beekeeper has entered the battle now. This thing is donezo, so we really just want to... My strategy now is we need to put as much fire on the Beekeeper as possible. And we need to defend ourselves, because he starts chunking pretty fast. So... This is a very, very bad draw. We get some defense up first. It's going to protect us from this attack. I kind of... What are we drawing next? A 3 and a 4. That is really important information. So I probably want to keep this 3. I think I definitely want to get rid of these 2. I think I'll do this just because I don't think Bloodlust is actually going to be that important at this point. But it'll get rid of this and spill like 3 over. So there's actually a situation where that could have been really strategically useful, because now I can access this follower without ending my turn. Let's actually just do that just to see kind of what it might be offering us. Shock is really useful. So Shock will freeze the next opponent. In this case, it'll be the boss. So it won't do anything this turn. We could take Needle again. Needle is... This is, again, another interesting thing about this drafting thing. Because we're getting the card right now, Needle is super valuable. It's going to fill like half my hand up. But I've already got a Needle in my deck, so I think for the future of the run, I don't really want it. But I could imagine Shock being kind of good to have as a mix in there. So I might take that, I think. I'm getting 3s next time, right? A 3 and a 4. So do I want to play this or not? I think it's fine. I think it's fine. You also don't lose your defense. So, oh, you do. Sorry. Oh Lord, I knew that would be a problem with making this video, because there are lots of mechanics that I've kind of felt but not thought about, and that was one of them. Okay, so we filled it up. There's like some moves here, but I think we're going to have to end up using another follower. I think I played a bit sloppy this time. Probably want to play 2, 3, 4 so we can maybe make a run of 1s. At this point, Flame is more valuable to me than attacks, because it kind of stacks over longer periods. You can get very, very big flame stacks. So there's a lot of attacks still to draw, unfortunately. I think I'm going to discard them and then pull in... What are we looking at right now? So this one's okay, but X is... I did it again. It's really easy to click with your non-dominant hand, it turns out. So the reason why this is not always very good... I mean, it is good, but like X is typically not a very big number. So it's going to heal me for 3, which is fine. One of the other options was like a static effect, kind of like the freeze effect, you know, where it's always the same no matter what X is. But this one's a little underwhelming. But I'm actually fine with it. I'm actually gonna... I just kind of want to get the flame on there, so I'm gonna, even though it's like a very underwhelming heal, I'm gonna do that anyway. All right. Let's roll. What have we got? Draw a tile for every opponent. So now this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. This is now not a very useful card. It's just going to draw me 1 card. Where do we want to... I think the 4s sound good. Could just play this and then use like the X's elsewhere, but what I can also do is this. So we can use 2 wild cards, and it will just treat them both as if you were making like a set with this. So I think this is fine. It means that we can't really do anything else, but it will freeze them anyway, and it means we're adding 9 burn on, which I think is well worth it. So let's just clear out some of the junk and end the turn. So you see here, it's taking 20 damage, and there's still 19 burn, and we're going to play more burn now. So burn is just where it's at, with this deck at least. Okay. I think it's going to be follower time for sure. So assuming we're getting a wild tile, let's look at some of our options here. We have no defense, and we're going to take 33 damage. So we could use the wild tile to make a 2/3/4. I think this run is probably gonna fail at this in this act. So, like playing low defense is probably not gonna cut it. We could use we could play like a 2-3-4 and then use a wild tile to make a 2-2-2 with the 2 leftover 2s, but that's actually less effective than doing it this way around. So we could also play 2-2-2 and then use the wild tile to make a 3-4-5. But I'm actually going to use the follower now because some of the follower cards you can get are very, very specific. So for example, one of the follower cards draws cards, I think, equal to the number of flames you have in your hand. So the follower choice might also influence what we want to play next. So let's see what Shah has for us. Draw 3 tiles. This is an incredible card. I love this card so much. In fact, I'll probably take it just so I can discuss it a little bit. Or we can transform a tile in our hand into a random wild tile. I've actually never taken this one before. It sounds pretty fun. I kind of want to talk about Sparrow, though. That's the problem. The problem is that this card's really fun, and I want to talk about it. So I say this as someone who has not really designed these games, but I think one of the things about designing a game like this is you don't want tiles that become useless over time, ideally. It's okay if tiles become useless for this particular run, but you want there to always be a run where like this card made the run for you. I think Slay the Spire does this very, very well. I think it's one of the great things about the game. So over time, obviously the 1-cost flames are like not very useful. The 1-cost defenses are not very useful. They could, at best, they can make like a run of 1, 2, 3. But there are a few cards like Sparrow that kind of invert this. So Sparrow does 50 damage to all opponents, which is incredible. Like it's like a board wipe in most places. But it does it after X turns. So normally when you're playing a wild card, you want this to be as high as possible. So like it's making a 3-4-5 here, which is great for the burn. It's gonna add 12 burn, but it means that this is doing 50 damage in 5 turns, which is, I mean, we'll be dead at that point. This is no use. So instead, it encourages you to actually, like the best case for this is to have 2 1s, and then X is just 1 turn, and you're doing 50 damage like next turn, which is incredible. So what Sparrow's doing is it's making lower value cards way more valuable, way more useful. So rather than kind of getting rid of them and discarding them, you may actually want to hold on to them, which again I just think is like, it's just such a nice little thing. So we'll do that. And then I think we will do, well, rough. Maybe we take this, I think, yeah. And that will at least heal us for 5. I mean, I can see kind of the writings on the wall for this one. I would be very surprised if we made this one work, but you never know. End turn. Okay, this will fire before the beekeeper attacks. So this will fire at when I press end turn. So 36 plus 50, that's 86. They've got 134 health. We don't have any followers. That's the real problem. It's looking pretty bad, chat. It's not looking great. In fact, I think we might just be completely toast here. Yeah. Okay. So I think there were 2 problems with this run. One was that we didn't clear the board fast enough. I spent a little bit too long burning smaller birds that I probably should have just finished off with regular attacks. And then the other problem is that we just like ate all of our followers like really early on. Like I said, I think this is like the indication of how well the run's going, is how many things are still following you here. Because if it's going well, you'll have loads of followers that you can call on like in dire situations. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the turn here. We will take 52 damage. You can see we're very close. We would have won on the next turn if we'd managed to get one more turn, but it was not to be. Anyway, this game is so interesting, and I think there is so much depth to it, and it's like there's so much like more stuff to add. So the Way of Fire is like one of their deck archetypes, and there's going to be 3 more of them. And we just saw one biome with the garden with the beekeeper. But there's 3 in the playtest, so I've played all 3 of them. And there's still like 3 more that they're going to add on top. And there's so many interesting cards and upgrades, and we haven't even looked at like the follower unlocks and stuff. Yeah, I do recommend checking it out. The playtest is just on Steam. Just look it up, wishlist it, and then download the playtest. And I'm super excited to see what gets added next. Really great fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, let me know if you play the game.